them over at YouTube over there. Over here, I'm on Facebook. How you doing tonight? It's like a Friday night, like I'm at ABC. How's everybody doing? I'm checking in, coming at you. My Yankees clinched American League East first time since 2012. Amazing. We got a great team, and I believe Booney's honing in on all he's got to do. I mean, think about it. Mike Ford, Clint Frazier, Miguel Andujar, Tyler Wade, who's going to be a hitting machine, an automatic double. Clint Frazier is a hitting machine. Miguel Andujar is a hitting machine. Right? Can't make the regular team. Hey, Marianne, thank you for the visit. God bless you. Can't make the regular team. We got Jordan Montgomery, Jonathan Loizaga throwing 98, 99. We got some team, right? Hicks, hopefully Hicks makes it back. Sanchez makes it back. Encarnacion makes it back. Yankees going to be full throttle. Whether we have the home field or not, we lost tonight. Okay. That umpire was really whack in the last inning. That was unbelievable. The Yankees were getting like savage. They were savaged out. What they did to Voit and that at bat, what they did to Gardy and that at bat, the Yankees were getting ready to savage out in the ninth inning today. Oh, my God. But that's okay. The umpire was really out of line. It's all right. We're going to win it this year. All people see is Verlander, Greinke, Cole, Houston. We're going to beat Houston. With that being said, right, I think Booney's got the idea. I'm starting to believe that Booney's ready to really make the move with the pitching, because we're only going to go as far as the bullpen takes us. I am not confident in our starting pitching, right? Tanaka, tough guy. He's on a short leash. Paxton, I don't care. Last month and a half, he's on a short leash, right? J-Hap, CC, whoever. We lost Domingo Germán. That's, we're still going to win. The Yankees are still going to win. We're still winning because we're savages. I mean, our everyday players are animals, right? So all we need is to put our assets in the pitching side on the table. And that's in the bullpen, the Yankee bullpen. That's where all our arms are. From Chapman to the Big O, to Britton, to Cayley, to Severino. Hopefully he stays. Hopefully they put him in the bullpen. What up, Anthony Russo? Hopefully they put him in the bullpen. Severino, I like that better. They're trying to stretch Severino last minute. I like Severino giving us 3 to 4 innings, a 99. I love it. Let him throw out of the ball for 4 innings. Let Chapman, who's throwing 103 the other day, let him throw out of the ball, right? When he comes in. Britton, Ottavino, and what about Chad Green? Oh my God. We are loaded with pitching. Right? Loaded. All Booney's got to do is stay away from the big inning, and we're winning this thing. Because sooner or later, whether it's against Verlander or Greinke, who I don't know if Greinke's got to win the, and then Cole, right? All we got to do is keep the game close, keep these games close, and one of these cats are going to run into something, and then we got a big inning. That's how we do. That's how we've done for the entire season. Whether we were in full strength, half strength, whether we had Wade and Clint Frazier, and we didn't have Miguel Andujar, who I think is a tremendous hitter. Gleyber Torres, oh my God, he's a masher, bro. Oh my God, Gleyber's a freaking masher. I told everybody, his follow through reminded me. I'm not saying he was as good as him, but he reminded me of Mickey Mantle. If you look at his follow through, I was watching Mickey Mantle's follow through. When he finishes his swing, he looks like Mickey Mantle. He's a big time wrist hitter. is Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres is a big-time wrist hitter. Big time. Unbelievable. And DJ Lemieux, let me tell you something. That guy, amazing baseball player. You know who he is? To me, he's this team's Derek Jeter. That's why I see DJ Lemieux being this Yankee team, this what I believe is this world championship team we're to be. DJ Lemieux is this team's Derek Jeter. Absolutely. It is ridiculous. It is too canny. Between his glove, the way he plays the field, the way he runs the bases, the way he hits the baseball at all fields. Derek Jeter. The leadership is beyond belief. And Judgy's locking in too. Judgy can rule Judgy out. DD's starting to settle in. DD's a great infielder, and I'm so glad about he got his throwing. Unfortunately, he had that. He was his arm was amazing. It's better now. It seems back on track. DD, our shortstop, and then Gio Urshela. Oh my God, that's like he's the best third baseman we've had since Scott Brocious. I got to be honest. I mean, I'm still with my brother Miguel Andujar, but he may have to find another position. I got to be honest. That bat, people will find a place for Miguel Andujar's bat, but I don't know if it's going to be third base. I don't know, man. Especially after we win it this year. I believe we're winning it this year. We are winning it this year. The Yankees are winning it. Now, the New York Giants, what up, Dan? Now, the New York Giants, this guy, Pat Shermer, I don't know what his deal is, bro. The last time I checked, I was listening to Mike Francesa, and Mike Francesa said that Pat Shermer canceled his interviews because he had a deal with Pat Shermer, the head coach of the New York Giants, that I think after every game, I don't know exactly the day, but he would go on the Mike Francesa show, and Mike Francesa would interview him. So he was doing that for a while, and Shermer didn't like. I mean, Mike's doing his thing, right? He's been doing it for what, 20-something years, and he's being honest with the questions. And I didn't hear them, but I believe he probably asked him some honest questions. I don't think he savaged them, but he, right? And he said that Mike Francesa said, of all the coaches that canceled his interview, I think he said all of them or most of them or like over 90% of them ended up getting fired. I was dying when he said that on the air. I was dying. So, hey, listen, 3rd and 2, Dallas Cowboys. We're in Dallas. 3rd and 2. What does Pat Shermer call? Eli Manning to roll out. And I look in the backfield. I got a monster behind. There's a monster behind you, son. Saquon Barkley. Why don't you try giving the ball to him? That's what I'm saying. These coaches get into these spots. They think they got to do these grandiose things, and it's always the basics. The basics win all the time. The great players, the great scientists, the great professionals, they all do the basics really good. Right? Saquon Barkley runs the football left, right, east, west, like nobody. And our offensive line is better. I have to say, our defense is a sieve, but the Giant offensive line is better than it was last year. So why not just play ball control offense? Keep it simple. Now we got the kid there now, Daniel Jones. Oh my God! Like everybody goes, what kind of quarterback is he going to be? A quarterback is only good as the team he has around him. I'm sorry. I think quarterbacks are just as much as overrated as I believe cornerbacks are overrated. If the quarterback, if and look at the Giants in the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, right? Great quarterback. We had inside push. Brady lost 2 games against the Giants. Running game, inside push. Let's go back to smashing them out football. Let's get some freaking attitude on the offensive line. Arrogance. 3rd and 2. That's a 2 down. We're on Dallas's 30-something. 3rd and 2. That's a 2 down territory. Let's play smashing them out football. Let's get some attitude instead of throwing the ball all over the field like everybody else, not going anywhere. Ball control football. Saquon Barkley left. Saquon Barkley should get at least 30 touches from the line of scrimmage and 40 tosses on out of the backfield from the quarterback. That's 10 completions for Jones. There it is. That's confidence. Jones don't have to do much. Just give the ball to Barkley, man, and let him go to work. Seriously. Then you got those tight ends, and that's when you take the ball out of Barkley's stomach after he does his thing. You do the play action, and you got action, right? Control the ball, keep the quarterbacks, the opposing offenses off the field so it doesn't expose our defense. And let's see if we can win some games. Saquon Barkley has to get 200 yards rushing almost every game, 150 to 200, and we got a shot. So that's what we should have done. The training should have been running the football. Power running football trumps everything. Power running football trumps everything. And he's got an offensive line this year, he looks like. All these guys can run block. It's a basic. They didn't make it this far not being able to run block. You know? And this way you take the load off the quarterback, the rookie quarterback. Give the ball to freaking Saquon. Give him the ball 30 times, 35 times, and then 10 dunks. That's 10 completions for Jones. He's a stud. Come on, man. You want to win? Barkley's got to get 150 to 200 yards rushing, and we got to get a shot to win because we're controlling the football. We're keeping the opposition off the field. Basics. Super Bowl, the 1990 Super Bowl, Giants versus the Bills, perfect example. Control the football, ball control. Even the passing attack should be ball control. Tight ends, dunks to Barkley, and you got the tight ends. We got good tight ends. And then if they really want to they want to put 8 in the box. The opposition wants to put 8 in the box. We still run the football. That's how good we got to be. That's how good we're going to be. We still run the football. Arrogance. Not bad arrogance, but you know what I mean. Not bad. But you got to believe. It's a belief. If you don't have the attitude, the Giants' offensive line don't have the attitude that they can get 2 yards on 2 downs in Dallas. And we got to do a rollout with Eli Manning. What the heck are we doing over here? Why are we lining up? Right? Why are we lining up? Where is the freaking push? We got Barkley. Where is the push? Give him the ball. I'm so glad we got rid of Odell. It should be if wide receivers can't block, if tight ends can't block, we need where is Maurice Carthen when we need him? Oh my God, Maurice Carthen. Parcells was a great coach. He don't get the credit that he should get. You know, everybody says Bill Belichick, and I see Belichick. What Belichick does with personnel is amazing. I'm not a big. I respect. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, Hall of Fame coach, and I think Tom Brady is arguably, if you can argue him being the greatest quarterback ever to live. Me, I got a few others that I like to throw in there, but you could definitely argue it. Brady's definitely in the equation of being the greatest of all time. But you know, the tuna was the man. If that was the tuna in his team, the Giants would have lined up. He would have gave it to Otis Anderson once, Otis Anderson twice. He would have ran that ball right down his throat, right down to Dallas's throat. Not the Giants today. They get soft, and you know we got to pass. We got to do that Manning. You know, hey, I'm not a Manning guy, all right, but I respect him. He's a good quarterback with great moments. He's got 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Can't take it away from him. He's probably going to make the Hall of Fame. He's got that record, that consecutive record, which he never should have lost. McAdoo didn't do the right thing with him. But anyway, this is my sports take, and the New York Knicks are going to make the playoffs. That's what we're going to talk about later. So now I'm getting into my great, because I got all. Now I'm going to get to our great president. We supported from Jump Street. Thank you, Jesus. 2015, one of the greatest presidents, because I put him in with Reagan, Lincoln, George Washington, Donald John Trump. Now they got a whistleblower and all this stuff. They're trying to get our president. They're trying to pin stuff on him it is the most ridiculous stuff I've ever heard in my life, what they're trying to do to our great president. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to show you what President Trump inherited, what the 8 years, that's what we do. That's why I do this all the time. It is mind-boggling what some of the Americans were smoking, drinking, cohorting, whatever the hell they were doing when it came to voting, how they voted for Barack Hussein Obama, the Obama-Clinton crime family for 8 years, that you got till today. Mainstream media, mainstream intelligence propping up the stealth jihad radicalism is Obama and the stealth jihad radicalism is Hillary Rodham Clinton. The Russo disclaimer: outside looking in, no U.S. Congressional Oversight Committee, no International Atomic Energy Agency, no Joint Chiefs of Staff, no National Security Council, no access to classified docs, nor do I know anyone who has access to classified docs. Court papers, judges' decisions, peer-reviewed journal articles, and well-sourced, well-researched open source articles. What we're searching for is a quasi-model, quote-unquote, statistical significance, and all likelihood, no probability. We look for trends, differences, and patterns in the data, and then we attempt to conceivably reach reasonable, responsible conclusions. And by the way, we believe our conclusions are close. Classified information is the mean. We're within the standard deviation of the mean. The Russo disclaimer. So this is where we are. So I'm going to start off with this article here, and we're going to move this forward, okay? Because the last time I was on the air, I think it was Wednesday, and we said, and we believe we're creeping towards statistical significance that the Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Rodham Clinton, the Obama-Clinton crime family, materially supported with money, weapons, and training, Ansar al-Sharia, the Sunni terrorism arm made up of al-Qaeda foreign fighters that goes all the way back to the Afghan Taliban versus the Soviet Union. And this terrorist group was materially supported by the Hezbollah, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds Force terror cell inside of Benghazi. And we had the vectors coming from Ajabaya, Libya, 90 degrees up, you're in Benghazi. From Benghazi, 45 degrees, the vectors, 45 degrees northeast, you're in Derna. And those are pipelines. Those vectors are pipelines. So you got human assets, tremendous. I read the article with the 15, at least 15 Al-Qaeda in Libya militia meeting in Liberation Square in Benghazi, June 7th to June 8th, something like that, 2012. Right. I read it from a Library of Congress document that was published August of 2012, a month before the Benghazi hit. So, and what we talked about was how the Al-Qaeda in Libya, the Al-Qaeda network in Libya was on steroids. Like there was an Al-Qaeda network in America that materially supported the 9/11 hijackers. There even was a 9/11 Imam al-Awlaki who was a FBI informant whose father had a diplomatic visa. That's how they get in here. Well, one of the ways, right? I got some stuff. Right? His father was part of the Ali Abdul Salah administration before the Hadi administration that got cooled by the Houthi rebels in Yemen out of Sana'a, right? So as there's an Al-Qaeda support network, as we talked about in the UK, where they had these billionaire fraudsters frauding the UK taxpayers for $8 to $10 billion and sending 80 to 100 million to the Al-Qaeda support network headed by Osama bin Laden. So this funding was going back at least 20 years. So the first question we asked was, did they fund September 11, 2001? Right? So with that being said, now we're saying there's an Al-Qaeda support network inside there was, and it's more profound today than it was before Obama took over. And when the Obama Clinton crime family policies in Libya were a disaster, as President Trump would say, an absolute disgrace. Truthfully, truth be told. So this is where we are. So now I'm going to do a little current stuff. Secret Obama era permit let Iran covert funds convert to dollars. Convert, yes. Convert to dollars. Secret Obama era permit let Iran convert. Not covert, convert. I'm sorry, it's late at night. Let Iran convert funds to dollars. Okay? So now, this is the Associated Press. Josh Lederman and Matthew Lee. After striking an elusive nuclear deal with Iran, the Obama administration found itself in a quandary in early 2016, or the fake Iranian nuke deal, where they didn't include the Iranian ballistic missile program inside the Iranian nuke deal. So Iran had been promised access to its long frozen overseas reserves, because we were at the time in the 70s, we were in a deal. They wanted jet fighters, 400 million, and then they did the 50 plus hostages, and we just kept the money, rightly so, as they were. And that's when they did, in the 80s, they did the Beirut bombing with Hezbollah. They killed 200 Marines, and it goes on and on what they've done to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces in the North African Middle Eastern region, Iran, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden. It's all part of the Pan-Islamic Summit in Sudan with Ayman al-Zawahiri, Osama bin Laden, Omar Bashir at the time, Hassan al-Tarabi at the time, and they were connected with the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, the 2001 horrific hit on the World Trade Center. It goes on and on and on, right? So to spend it, Iran wanted to convert the money into US dollars and then euros. We've talked about this. But top US officials had repeatedly promised Congress that Iran would never gain access to America's financial system. These assurances notwithstanding, the Obama administration secretly, this is an Associated Press mainstream like Reuters, secretly issued a license to let Iran sidestep US sanctions for the brief moment. So this is definitely where, I mean, this definitely could be, when you put it all together, it's pretty horrific. For the brief moment required to convert the funds to an American bank. An investigation by Senate Republicans released Wednesday of a few months ago. The plan failed when 2 U.S. banks refused to participate. Yet 2 years later, the revelation is reigniting the bitter debate over the nuclear deal and whether Barack Hussein Obama was too eager to grant concessions to the Ayatollah. The Obama administration misled the American people and Congress because they were desperate to get a deal with Iran. What deal? They didn't get a deal. It was a fake deal. It was a money deal, right? 150 billion back to Iran. So that was a big institutional deal. What's 2 points on 150 billion? 10% of 150 billion is 15 billion. Half of that is 5%. That's 7.5 billion. 1 point is 1.5 billion. 2 points is 3 billion. So Obama and Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, got $3 billion, something like that, or a piece of that. That's a lot of dough, right? So we know that Obama's brother, according to Shobat, the PLO convert to Christianity, he had the data on Obama's half-brother and Omar al-Bashir, Muslim Brotherhood operatives in this this Islamic Dawa organization where they had this bank account in the Al Shalom Islamic Bank of Sudan, founded by Osama bin Laden. You can't make this stuff up. So guaranteed, 3 billion of the 150 billion. It's a lot of dough. So according to Republican rep at the time, the chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Ed Ross, accused Obama of trying to hide a secret push to give the Ayatollah access to the US dollar. Iran has killed Americans. Obama also, as our great president, brought back the Victims Compensation Fund. Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton and the Democrats, headed by Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Tlaib, wanted to get rid of the Victims Compensation Fund to fund the victims of September 11, 2001, the first responders and the families of the victims. It's horrific. But our great president, a great American, Donald John Trump, brought it all back. This Victims Compensation Fund, to his credit. Now, so listen to this. So the Associated Press says a former Obama administration officials argued that the decision to grant the license adhered to the spirit of the Iranian nuke deal, which included allowing Iran to regain access to foreign reserves that had been off limits because of U.S. sanctions. Of course, they're killing Americans. They took 50 plus hostages, and they've been killing Americans for the last. They were involved in the U.S. district courts ruled the Islamic Republic of Iran materially supported Al Qaeda before, during, and after the horrific hit on the World Trade Center, right? Andrew McCarthy's testimony before the oversight committees in 2016, and he wrote this article because he was the blind sheep prosecutor, and he wrote this article about Sudan, the Sudanese mission. Sajid Ali, the Sudanese national who spoke perfect English and ended up being the blind sheep translator. And he was touring, like I'm going to get to, the American Airlines mechanic who shared disturbing ISIS videos. He was touring like he was doing. We're going to talk about him next. Like he was doing recently. Russo's a whack job, Russo's an Islamophobic whack job, talking about the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, and I have an article published by Fox News, September 19, 2019, talking about blowing up buildings and killing Americans. U.S.-Mexican border, son. There's a Hezbollah stockpile of weapons on the U.S.-Mexican border. The vectors don't lie. The vectors don't lie. Telling you, go to my website, scroll down, you'll see them. So now, the former Obama administration arguing that the decision to grant the license adhered to the spirit of the deal. We said this is a ruse, fake, which included allowing Iran to regain. How could you? I mean, why would we allow Iran to gain? Right, President Trump recently. I'm going to talk about it Sunday night. President Trump, the Trump administration recently, nobody sanctioned Iran as hard as the Trump administration, I think, in our history, right? He's hit them now in the banking systems. I'm going to find out more. I'm going to talk about that Sunday night. Now, according to this Associated Press article, the Obama administration officials said the public assurances that Iran would be kept out were intended to dispel incorrect reports about non-existent proposals that would have gone much further by letting Iran actually buy or sell things in dollars. I mean, this is like so ridiculous what the Obama Clinton crime family did, because basically what they did was, and this is why we believe, the giving of Iran all that money was they funded the Benghazi, they funded Ansar al-Sharia, right? Ansar al-Sharia, they got, according to Kenneth Tillman, 8 to 10 million from Mohammed Jodaki and Khalil Harab. Hezbollah Quds Force connection, right? I think Khalil Harab was the contact, was the point person with Ansar al-Sharia. The money, according to Kenneth Tillman, came from Malaysia. Quds Force bank accounts. Quds Force is the special forces of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. So there's this First Islamic Investment Bank in Malaysia, right in Kuala Lumpur, and it's owned by, if I'm not mistaken, Babak Zanjani. Babak Zanjani is an Iranian billionaire who was fronting for the Ahmadinejad Iranian regime. And he was selling 20 plus million barrels of oil off of Port Labuan in Malaysia to get around the Western sanctions. And he is also involved, and we talk about this all the time, with the Riza Arab case. That's the Iranian Turkish gold trader that was bribing the Erdogan president, the president of Turkey, his wife, his son, I think his son-in-law or grandson, for millions of dollars. And Erdogan opened up the Turkish banks. So this guy, Raza Zarab, was able to money launder through Turkish banks to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps tens of millions of dollars. Sounds like the Obama Clinton crime family, right? Now, Raza Zarab was involved with Babak Zanjani. He was holding his money. Babak Zanjani was fronting for the Ahmadinejad and up to Hassan Rouhani administration. But Hassan Rouhani has taken a hard line with Babak Zanjani because the mullah, well, they're very concerned. The mullahs and Hassan Rouhani are concerned about losing control of the regime is concerned of losing control. They couped Ahmadinejad, who was from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. He was prime minister of Iran. I think in 2009 they couped. They conceivably, there was an election, but there wasn't an election. So so that's what goes on in Iran. So that's what goes on in Iran. Truth be told. So President Trump recently has been heavily sanctioned the Islamic Republic of Iran, to the point where he's actually sanctioning government entities. First time in our history, the U.S. Treasury under the Trump administration sanctioned the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps as FTOs, foreign terrorist organizations, and they are considered a government entity. It's crazy stuff, right? President Trump's got to do what he's got to do to defend this great nation. Government entity or whatever, right? President Trump is going to do what he's going to do to defend this great nation. So, with that being said, now I'm going to segue. I got my segue already. I'm segueing into this. American Airlines mechanic shared disturbing ISIS videos. Now, according to Fox News, now they're arguably the greatest, if not the greatest, broadcasting network on the planet. I really miss Bill O'Reilly. I thought he was the greatest TV broadcaster on the planet. I thought he was awesome. So, an American Airlines mechanic accused of sabotaging a plane in July reportedly told arresting agents he had an evil side, a nefarious persona prosecutors sought to expose as they presented alleged evidence of his Islamist sympathies and aspirations at a bail hearing in Miami. So I'm going to get that's the other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to get the sanctions that President Trump has sanctioned on Iran with the banking system. I'm going to get that I think it happened this week, and I'm going to get this case. This Abdul Majid Maruf Ahmed Alani. So I'm going to go Ahmed Alani. Okay. So the prosecutors said, well, what did they find? This is why it's very hard to identify these radicalisms, because they got 50 plus aliases. It's beyond belief, right? So the prosecutors said this guy, Ahmed Alani, allegedly displayed support for ISIS by making statements about wishing Allah would use divine powers to harm non-Muslims and sharing ISIS videos on his cell phone, which he allowed the FBI to search. One of the videos showed a person being shot in the head. Federal investigators said they also learned Ahmed Alani, lied about taking a trip to Iraq in March to visit his brother and also sent $700 to someone in Iraq. Alani allegedly told an American Airlines co-worker in June his brother was kidnapped and became a member of the terrorist organization ISIS. Alani worked as a mechanic for the airline when he allegedly sabotaged a NASA-bound Boeing 737 with 150 passengers and crew aboard at Miami International Airport. As you know, the 9/11 hijackers had 60 plus state IDs and driver's licenses. There were terror cells in San Diego, Phoenix, San Antonio, and DC. The 9/11 Imam was Anwar al-Awlaki. Truth be told, prosecutors said this was published in September 19, 2019. Prosecutors said Alani glued styrofoam inside the nose of the aircraft that disabled a part used to gauge airspeed and other critical flight data. Pilots detected the issue before takeoff, and a subsequent inspection discovered the problem. Airport surveillance captured Alani, who walks with a limp, walking on the plane's nose for about 7 minutes. He was identified by coworkers. After his latest arrest, he told agents he acted out of his evil side and wanted to do something to delay the plane to get overtime for maintenance reports. You believe this? While Alani is not yet charged with terror-related crime, the potential links to ISIS give rise to the possibility that his actions had a darker purpose beyond what he insisted was a labor issue. Absolutely. The judge ultimately denied Alani bail. Alani worked for the American Airlines since 1988 and simultaneously worked for Alaska Airlines from 98 until his firing in 2008. So we're going to watch this one. I want to see what the prosecutors are accusing him of. I'm going to try to get the case. So it's this guy, Abdul Majid Maruf Ahmed Alani. So we're going to call him Ahmed Alani. So that's what's going on over there. And we're going to go into Jersey now. Another Fox News, Melissa Leon. The other one was Stephen Soares, suspected Hezbollah spy, scouted targets in New York and other major cities. Sounds like Sajid Ali from the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, where he was calling up the Sudanese paramilitary out in Sudan, talking to Hassan al-Tarabi, and where they're gonna, what buildings they're gonna blow up, and what Americans they're gonna kill. In the same breath, they were trying to find out things about Mubarak at the time, the Egyptian prime minister, where he was going to be, and what jurisdiction he was going to be in, because they were trying to whack him too. So in New Jersey, man is accused of being basically a secret Hezbollah operative in the United States for more than a decade, surveilling potential. He's surveilling like Sajid Ali of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. He was surveilling potential attack sites in New York City, Boston, and Washington. Alex Zab, Alex Zab, 42 from Morristown, New Jersey, was charged with a 9-count indictment in connection with a range of alleged terror activities. They included providing material support to a designated foreign terrorist organization and receiving military-style training from the group, according to the Justice Department. Even though Salab was a naturalized American citizen, well, Anwar al-Awlaki was born in America. Didn't stop him. He was the Osama bin Laden of America. His true allegiance was to Hezbollah, the terrorist organization responsible for decades of terrorist attacks that killed hundreds, including men and women of the United States Armed Forces, U.S. citizens, and military personnel. Thankfully, Alex Salab is now in federal custody and faces significant prison time for his alleged crimes. As we know, in the 2011 thwarted kidnapping attempt, assassination attempt, that's what it was, of the Sudanese ambassador to the United States in D.C. from the U.S.-Mexican border by an Iranian-American and a Quds Force official and a Mexican drug cartel member who they bribed with $100,000 to come to America from the U.S.-Mexican border, like we've been saying all along, to D.C. to go through that vector from, I'll say it again, El Paso, Texas, which is right near the New Mexico, which was one of the jihadi training camps that was put together by Siraj Wahhaj, the 1993 unindicted co-conspirator in the World Trade Center bombing. His son put together the jihadi training camp, and the federales shut that one down. From El Paso, Texas to San Antonio, Texas, then it goes to Houston, Texas, then the vector becomes parallel to the Cartesian coordinate system to New Orleans, Louisiana. Then it goes up the East Coast pretty much through Macon County, Alabama, through the other jihadi training camp headed by Siraj Wahhaj's son, the unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. The federales shut that one down. Then it moves, this vector goes along Atlanta, Georgia, through Charlotte, North Carolina, into D.C., Anwar al-Awlaki, the 9/11 Imam, in his mosque. Then it goes through the Philadelphia Conference, Hamas, with the creation of CARE, the Council of America Islamic Relations, the Holy Land Foundation trial, Muslim Brotherhood, infiltration in America with Omar Ahmad Nahi Awad, and that today has metastasized to Congresswoman Omar and Congresswoman Tlaib, the new face of CARE, the new face of the Democratic National Committee, the DNC. Omar Ahmad, Congresswoman Omar, and Congresswoman Tlaib are the new faces of CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations. And from there, it goes right into the streets of New York, truth be told. So according to this, the Fox News article, this Alexei Sharab scouted various bridges, tunnels, and airports, specifically focusing on the structural weaknesses of locations he surveilled in order to determine how a future attack could cause the most destruction. You believe this stuff? You believe this? 10 years in this, he's doing this for over a decade. 10 years. See, because the federales, that's why I believe that September 11, 2001 one hit. They knew who these guys were. They knew who Muhammad Atta was. They knew who Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was. They knew who Ramzi Youssef was. They knew who Muhammad Atta was. Al Hamzi, Al Mador. They knew who these people were. They just got double banged by their informants. That's what happened there. When they get double banged, we get killed. Americans get killed. Truth be told. So I'm going to get these court documents. Court documents show that this Alex Zahab allegedly took photos of various locations, including the Brooklyn Bridge, the Verrazano Bridge, the George Washington Bridge, the Federal Plaza, and other government buildings. This is what Omar Abdul-Rahman was planning to do after after the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. That's what he got. That was part of his prosecution, was that he was planning to blow up more buildings. That blew up he created the terror cell. He's blind, knows the Quran wrote. He said he did nothing wrong. It's in the Quran. It's in the Quran. These killings, these bombings are in the Quran, according to Omar Abdul-Rahman, the blind chief. According to Youssef al-Qaradari, the Muslim cleric that got thrown out of America because he was involved in the Holy Land Foundation trial, money laundering for terror, he got sent back to Egypt. He went to the same school as Omar Abdul-Rahman, Al-Azhar University, one of the most profound institutions on Islamic scholarship. And that's where the stealth jihad radicalism is Barack Hussein Obama, with Hillary Rodham Clinton, did his famous Muslim Brotherhood speech in Cairo, where he said it's his duty as President of the United States that he was to defend and protect any Islam against any negative stereotypes. Beyond belief. Beyond belief. I don't know where that says that that's his duty, or that was his duty in the United States Constitution, but when Obama was president, the Constitution didn't mean anything, right? How did he get there, right? And he became president. We don't even know where the hell this guy was born. I don't believe Hawaii. Like we know more information about Hillary Rodham Clinton, and I believe she's probably an American Muslim convert. Probably. I believe that. In addition, this Alex Zahab, according to the Justice Department, he also traveled to Istanbul, Turkey. Wow. Around 2005, and attempted to murder a person he believed to be an Israeli spy. Alex Zahab allegedly joined Hezbollah in '96, according to Justice Department. He's said to have started training under Hezbollah around '99, learning how to handle firearms. Hezbollah, unfortunately, they're known for their explosives, and we point to the Crowbar Towers attack in 1996. In 2000, he allegedly became a member of the group's External Operations Unit, the Islamic Jihad organization, where he received additional training in tradecraft, weapons, and military tactics, including how to construct bombs and other explosive devices. Court documents allege that he later attended explosive training in Lebanon in 2004 and 2005 and received detailed instruction in, among other things, triggering mechanisms, explosive substances, detonators, and the assembly of currents. Alex Zahab lawfully entered the United States in 2000, applied for naturalized citizenship in 2005, and became a U.S. citizen in 2008. So what? Who cares? Anwar al-Awlaki was born in America, and he was killing Americans. He was America's Osama bin Laden. So it doesn't matter, right? They're all a bunch of rats, as far as I'm concerned. Disgraceful individuals. In addition to terrorism, he also faces unrelated charges, including marriage and naturalization and citizenship fraud. Wow. Why am I not shocked? What about Congresswoman Omar? and her marriage to her brother. Is that true? Talking about marriage fraud. Oh my God! If that's true, that's over the top. Respectively, as well as making false statements. Hezbollah was founded in the 80s and supported by Iran. Oh my God! So it's Fox News, great broadcasting network. So before I close the night, so Sunday night, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to try to get this case on this American Airlines mechanic. I want to see what they're charging him with, and what the background, what some of the prosecutor's brief. I want to see the facts, what they're alleging, and also I'm going to get the information on the Trump administration's sanctions on Iran and the banking system. I want to see that. So now I'm going to creep back toward the Obama Clinton crime family and its material support with money, weapons, and training, the Sunni militia, Ansar al-Sharia with Bin Kumu, who was a 2007 Gitmo detainee, Abu Qatala, Abu Yahya al-Libi. He got whacked by a drone in the summer. But then they had Abdel Hakim al-Hajj, Mustafa Jalal, Mohammed Jabril, that's who that was. But they did have Abu Yahya al-Libi's brother. He was one of the co-founders of the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, which also had Noman Benormian was there. Abdel Baset Haran was there. So they had all of these radical Islamic terrorists, Al-Qaeda foreign fighters that go all the way back to the Afghan Taliban versus the Soviet Union. And 10 or 11 years after September 11, 2001, where we lost 3,000 to 5,000 Americans, Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton implement a policy to materially support Al-Qaeda foreign fighters, Al-Qaeda in Libya, in South Sharia. And we talked about, I showed you the article, last time I was on the air, which was Wednesday, talking about here it is, talking about the June 7th to June 8th, 2012. This was published by the Library of Congress, Al-Qaeda in Libya, August 2012. So this is before how could they, with all the information with Abu Hamza al-Mashri and Abu Yahya Libi, part of the MI6, the MI5, it's all in the open source with Anwar al-Awlaki, Abdel Sator Sheikh, and this guy Imad Karaka is being FBI informants involved with the 9/11 hijackers. With all this Al-Qaeda support network in US, Al-Qaeda support network in UK, 11 years after September 11, 2001, and the Obama Clinton crime family is giving money, weapons, and training to Al-Qaeda? Seriously, like, for real. I heard about that, Kenneth. Yes, the Pentagon sending troops to Saudi. Well, Kenneth Taylor from my YouTube live is asking. So I read that too on Drudge. We got to take a wait and see, right? Because we know in Saudi, right, the largest military base outside the United States is in Qatar, right? Wait, did I talk about that other thing that I read? I didn't talk about that other thing, which I didn't know, because it talks about the money, right? I didn't talk about, before I get into this, I'll talk about it. I'll go back to it because it talks about the bank, Muscat Bank of Oman, where Iran has money. So this is where, and that's why Sunday night I want to get President Trump's sanctions on Iran and the banking system. And we're going to put it all together with the Iraqi banks, with the Al Shalom Islamic Bank in Sudan, with the first Islamic investment bank in Malaysia, with the Iranian billionaire Babak Zanjani. And now, so Kenneth, we're going to take a wait and see on this on Sunday night. We'll talk about it Sunday night more, because we got to see what's going on, right? So we're saying Ansar al-Sharia in June 7th, 8th of 2012 at Liberation Square in Benghazi, hosted by Ansar al-Sharia, the group that put the hit on Benghazi mission. According to this Tripoli newspaper, this Libya al-Yum, at least 15 militias, Al-Qaeda foreign fighters, Al-Qaeda militias in Libya attended this event. And Free Libya. I talked about this on Wednesday. Free Libya martyrs and this Abu Salim martyrs, and some were coming from Derna, like we discussed, Benghazi, Derna and Benghazi. The revolutionaries of Shirt, the Umar al-Khattab Benghazi, Ansar al-Sharia Benghazi. I mean, it's just beyond belief. At least 15 Al-Qaeda militias in Libya attended this event, this meeting. Because basically, see, what happened was in 1969, Gaddafi couped Libya. And he was from 69 to like 40 years. Gaddafi was pretty much on a mission with the radical Islamists. He put them in jail up until the time of Benghazi, which was like a 40th year commencement. They were trying to say that this was like a reconciliation with the radical Islamic movements. There were some rumors that his son was involved, Gaddafi's son was involved, and or the U.S. embassy was involved, convincing Gaddafi to release the radical Islamists from the prisons in Tripoli, like individuals like Bin Kumu, who was a Gitmo detainee, was released now on the streets. Because in 2007, Bin Kumu was a Gitmo detainee. He was sent to Libya and was put in the Tripoli prison, and he was released by Gaddafi. So Gaddafi allowed these radical Islamists in the streets. And in June was one of their meetings where they got together and planned in June of 2012 at Liberation Square in Benghazi. They were planning to take out Gaddafi. Well, I shouldn't say that. I take that back. Gaddafi got taken out in 2011. So this makes it even worse, right? So February 2000, I remember it's late, so please bear with me. In February 2011, around that time is when the ouster for Gaddafi intensified with NATO, the naval blockade, the no-fly zone, the trade embargo, and all these NATO countries were involved in putting the sanctions on Gaddafi. They wanted Gaddafi out. France and England were heavily involved, as was the Obama-Clinton crime family, with Saudi, Qatar, who was heavily involved, and Turkey. Qatar, the Obama-Clinton crime family, the Hillary Rodham Clinton State Department approved the 400 FIM-92s, the 400 U.S. Stingers, the U.S. Manpads, to the Al-Qaeda foreign fighters. That's horrific. Oh my God, what they did. Horrific. So Gaddafi got whacked in October of 2011. So in 12, so even more so, how did they allow, right? So it's even worse, because this meeting of June of 2012 was after the ouster of Gaddafi. Unbelievable. So we got that whole thing. So we have the intensifying of, because there's no way Gaddafi would have lost his stronghold, because he hoarded 20,000 manpads, Soviet manpads. And most of them, as my understanding, was in Algeria, which is maybe 280 degrees south. The vector goes from Tripoli, the capital. That's the big military commander, Abdelhakim Belhaj. He was the military commander out of Tripoli. So from Tripoli, the vector about 280 degrees, the pipeline to Algeria was where most of the Soviet manpads, that's those missiles, they call them portable, I think manpads for portable, it's a missile, 6-foot missile that the soldier puts on the shoulder and shoots, and it has such a profound effect that it's able to shoot an airliner out of the commercial airliner out of the sky and/or helicopters. Very, very powerful because it's remote. So you got these foot soldiers, or now the radicalism has happened, on foot, shooting manpads from their shoulders and taking out, and it happened in Afghanistan a couple of times, where these, according to Kenneth Timmerman, where these manpads actually took out Chinook helicopters, U.S. helicopters. Horrific. So that's what this whole thing was really. I mean, so you had 20,000 Soviet manpads on the streets of North Africa, Middle Eastern region, 400 FIM-92s that, when they threw out Gaddafi, they whacked the general from Gaddafi's regime, General Yunus. So they lost pretty much, the NATO and America lost control. And meanwhile, Mustafa Jalal, Abdelhakim Belhaj, I think Mohammed Jabril ended up becoming the interim president. I think he actually won an election, if I'm not mistaken. He's the former Minister of Defense under Gaddafi. He defected and formed this Libyan rebel group, the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group. We formed this Transnational Council for Democracy in Libya, all this ruse stuff, right? And they end up becoming gun runners, running weapons to 20,000 U.S. manpads. Iran was involved. Oh my God. So this is all this stuff going on, right? This is what we say the Obama-Clinton crime family materially supported Ansar al-Sharia that put the hit on the Benghazi mission. So what we're saying is the money came from Malaysia, right? Money came from Malaysia. First Islamic Investment Bank, Babak Zanjani. And it made its way to Turkey, to Mohammed Jodaki, to Khalil Harab, according to Kenneth Tillman. Then it made it to Ansar al-Sharia. So that's money. Weapons. 400 FIM-92s, the Obama-Clinton crime family supported. Through Qatar, attempting to have a zero footprint. So in other words, no footprint going back to the Obama-Clinton crime family. Human assets. Morsi, Raymond Ibrahim. He was the investigative reporter, the Coptic Christian. I mean, this guy knows Islam like unbelievable in Egypt. Oh my God. And he was involved in the investigation of Benghazi. He got the tapes. He was able to translate the tapes, and he found that Muslim Brotherhood operatives were part of this Ansar al-Sharia, this Sunni militia that was constructed. It was a cookie cutout. It was made up of Al-Qaeda foreign fighters, Al-Qaeda terrorists. But it was made up by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds Force, Hezbollah terror cell inside of Benghazi. So they took this and they created this Sunni militia so it wouldn't come back to Iran. So Iran could cover, and they would say, well, it was Ansar al-Sharia. Obama supported it. The Obama-Clinton crime family supported Ansar al-Sharia. And we just showed you with money from the First Islamic Investment Bank through Babak Zanjani. As Obama gives $150 billion back to Iran, as Obama gives $1.7 billion in cash, as we discussed. And I'm going to go back to that article because it talks about $5.7 billion in Muscat Bank of Oman. So the money came from Malaysia, according to Kenneth Timmerman. The human assets came from Derna, right? That vector from Benghazi, 45 degrees northeast, and also from Egypt, Muslim Brotherhood operatives, Morsi. Who put Morsi in power? The Obama-Clinton crime family. They couped Mubarak and put Morsi in power, and Morsi sent troops to support Ansar al-Sharia. Iran. That's why Sisi in Israel couped Morsi and put in Sisi. So we got the Obama-Clinton crime family sending money, sending weapons. Now the weapons, we got the 492s. That was approved by the State Department. So Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton materially supported Ansar al-Sharia. We are creeping toward statistical significance. Incontrovertible truth is coming down the pipeline. Now, another caveat. So I was talking about this. I got onto a tangent. Now I'm talking about. I'm going to go back to this thing now, with Gaddafi couing and taking over and sending the radical Islamists to prison. He basically took a hard line with the radical Islamists, and then, for whatever reason, his son and/or the U.S. embassies over there in Libya, they convinced Gaddafi to release the Islamists, and they cohorted together with bin Kumu and Abu Qatala and the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, and they took out Gaddafi. Noman bin Oitman, Abdel Hakim Al-Hajj, Mustafa Jalal, Abu Yahya Liby's brother, was a co-founder of the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group. This was the same group that migrated, the Libyans that migrated to Manchester, England in the 90s. England was so heavily involved in the ousting of Gaddafi, they were encouraging Libyan Britons to go to Libya and fight. And Iran was there with Hezbollah. It's beyond belief, right? So Gaddafi released the radical Islamists from the Libyan prisons, and they ended up obviously with the help of NATO, United States, ended up getting whacked, right? So what did Obama? Obama. So did Obama do something like this? Well, Obama, we believe, couped America, right? It was a stealthy coup. We don't know who. I think he's a mole, quite frankly, of the mainstream media, mainstream intelligence, mole of the Comey Mueller wing of the FBI, and the Brennan Panetta Morell wing of the CIA. That's what we believe. As is Hillary Rodham Clinton, a mole of the intelligence agency of the Comey Mueller wing of the FBI, and the Brennan Morell Panetta wing of the CIA. The Bill Clinton, Hillary Rodham Clinton are moles for the intelligence community. And what did Barack Hussein Obama do? First of all, when they couped Mubarak, they moved to give Egypt $450 million in aid, $1.5 billion in aid, 5 jet fighters. So Morsi was only there for a year. So let's say he got $450 million, not $1.5 billion, because he got couped by Sisi, and he got 1 jet fighter under the Obama-Clinton crime family. In addition, the Bergdahl trade. The Bergdahl trade, they released 5 Afghan Taliban killers, murderers, right, that were involved in the creating the safe haven for the Al Qaeda to put the horrific hit on the Twin Towers. They worked with Iran, and the Taliban governor of the Herat province of Afghanistan, Herullah, he was released, and he had the ties to Iran, ties to Karzai, who was taking bribes from Iran. He had ties to the Afghan Taliban, right? He worked with Mullah Omar. He was one of the first founders of the headquarters inside of Iran, the city of Sahedin, where in the town, Iran is what? A Shiite country, what tens of millions of Shiite Iranian Muslims live. In the city of Sahedin, 600,000 Iranian Sunnis live. And that's where her ruler, at one point, he was part of that Taliban headquarters creating it. Obama released him and 4 other Afghan Taliban. In addition, Obama released, as Gaddafi released Gitmo detainees, Obama released Gitmo detainees. So he released the 5 Afghan Taliban for Bergdahl, trader. Then he released these 2 Chinese Muslim detainees who were in Gitmo for terrorist activities. They were released in El Salvador, in 2012. Obama released 5 Iranian Quds Force officials. That's the special forces of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Quds Force, headed by General Soleimani. Obama released 5 in 2009. He went to Erbil, Iraq, to make certain that they were released. So Obama, like Gaddafi, is releasing these radical Islamists all over the place. He's empowering them, right? By releasing the radical Islamists and putting them on the streets, he's empowering Al Qaeda, ISIS, the Al Nurusha, Hamas, these Sunni terrorist entities, putting them back on the street, putting them back in the field. Like when it came out when Obama released, when he did the Bergdahl trade, and he sent the 5 Afghan Taliban, sent them to Qatar, and according on the Bill O'Reilly show, for $5 billion. It came out recently that these Afghan Taliban have established headquarters in Qatar. Why am I not shocked, right? So he has empowered, the Obama-Clinton crime family had empowered the radical Islamists, the global jihadi movement. So in addition, according to Judicial Watch, the Hezbollah commander Ali Musha, who tortured and killed 5 U.S. soldiers in Iraq and was detained by U.S. forces in early 2007, was freed by an Iraqi court, the inevitable and predictable result of an Obama administration decision to hand over to Iraqi authorities rather than bring him to Gitmo. And this was a terrorist freed after the Obama administration denies Gitmo entrance. This was put out by Breitbart. So it looks like Obama was doing the same things that Gaddafi was doing, or Gaddafi did. Obama is releasing all of these Islamists. Judicial Watch summarizes the pathetic. Wow. So basically, Judicial Watch is claiming that we all knew this would happen back in December when the commander-in-chief handed over the Lebanese militant Ali Musha to the Iraqi officials. A mainstream newspaper presented it as a dilemma for the President Obama as American troops prepared to exit Iraq. This Ali Musha has been in U.S. military custody in Iraq since 2007. So this is a Hezbollah commander. He also released 5 Quds Force leaders in 2008 when he took over. They were also detained, according to the State Department. According to the State Department, those 5 Quds Force leaders were detained and they were held for a year and a half till Obama took over because they were a serious threat to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. If you remember, that was the time during the coalition forces, the surge that was being done by General Petraeus. General Petraeus got put out by the Obama-Clinton crime family because, first of all, he was a political threat to them. He would have been a major threat to them in 2012. He had big-time political chops, did General David Petraeus. In addition, Petraeus was a big-time general in Iraq. He was whacking radical Islamists. He found out how to, and he was surging over in Iraq. with the coalition forces. And what they did was they took him off the field because he was killing radical Islamists. They put him into the CIA, became a CIA director, and then they got rid of him through a fugazi, claiming that he was, because the CIA director is classified information. So he did a bio with this woman that he did the bio with, became his girlfriend, and she ended up gaining information about him. So it's information about him is classified information. So that's how they got him. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton's got a server in the basement of her house, and she gets away with murder, right? Giving away the nuclear secrets and nuclear codes to enemy foreign actors. And they had Benghazi information. They supported Ansar al-Sharia. They took that information off the server. Obama got 18 emails from that server. Claimed he denied it on 60 Minutes, and it came out he got 18 emails from that server in Hillary Clinton's basement. Crazy stuff. Meanwhile, the general's guilty. It's ridiculous. Like the same thing they did with Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, he was the DIA director at the time in 2013 when they came out with the goods on North Korea. He came out with the goods with North Korea. He was a director at the time. North Korea, it came out in the DIA report, North Korea had highly confident, North Korea had miniaturized nuclear warheads for its long-term ballistic missile program. And they said it's old news. It goes back to 2006. And Obama denied the report, didn't look at they denied all of the intelligence that the DIA at the time, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn was a director of the DIA at the time, was offering. And in addition, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn had redacted memos on what went down in Benghazi that the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Quds Force Special Ops of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and Hezbollah, their terror cell, materially supported Ansar al-Sharia, which was supported by the Obama-Clinton crime family. Money, the Malaysia, the First Islamic Investment Bank with Babak Zanjani. Weapons, the 400 FIM-92s. The 400 FIM-92s that was given through Qatar, the U.S. Stingers. The State Department approved them under the Obama-Clinton crime family. And training, human assets, Morsi, the Mohammed Jamal Network, Raymond Ibrahim, his data. Guilty, treasonous traitors, the Obama-Clinton crime family. And now I'm showing you how he was like Gaddafi, Obama, releasing radical Islamists under the guise of, well, I got a traitor, I got an American. Remember that fake thing he did with Bergdahl? Now, they went and they released 5 Quds Force leaders out of Erbil, Iraq. And now we talked about Judicial Watch, right? The atrocities took place in a city called Karbala, south of Baghdad in early 2007. That's in Iraq. Around a dozen terrorists dressed in U.S. military uniforms opened fire on Americans after approaching a camp in 5 sports utility vehicles resembling, I don't have the rest of this. I didn't even know this was that good. I'm going to get this. I didn't know this was that good. It's the first time I'm reading it. Wow. Wow. Could you imagine? I ran out. What an article this is. I'm going to get it. So I'm going to read it Sunday night. So Judicial Watch summarizes the pathetic abdication of justice by the Obama administration. Unbelievable. So I'm going to get this article. I'm going to get this article because it's really, I didn't realize. That's the first time I was reading it. The atrocities took place in a city called Karbala, south of Baghdad. Wow. So Baghdad is 180 degrees west is Damascus, Syria. 90 degrees north, you're going into the Kirkuk oil pipeline. South, that's why Baghdad is well, the command center for Iran, the vectors. We talk about the vectors on the show. The command center for Iran is basically Damascus, the Iranian embassy in Damascus. That's where they committed, according to the FBI, Louis Freeh, they committed the Khobar Towers attack. The investigation with 250 agents, 5-year investigation. So this is really crazy. The atrocities took place in a city called Karbala, south of Baghdad. Around a dozen terrorists dressed in U.S. military uniforms opened fire on Americans after approaching a camp in 5 sports utility vehicles. I got to get the rest of this article. It's crazy. So I'm going to read this article Sunday. I'm going to read the whole thing Sunday. It's really crazy. Right? So this Obama released him. Obama freed him. Yeah. Obama freed him. Obama. Oh, this is why they don't like President Trump. Look what President Trump did. President Trump's pushing to designate Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization. That's why they don't like President Trump. Not only is he killing them with the economy, he's going after the radical Islamists. Look at that. And he also, President Trump, U.S. labels elite Iran force a foreign terrorist organization. That's the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Now, the United States designated Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps a foreign terrorist organization. First time, unprecedented. A declaration against a foreign government that may prompt, well, whatever, to saying retaliation. Who cares? President Trump's doing what he has to do to defend this country. It is the first time the U.S. has designated an entity of another government as a foreign terrorist organization. That's unbelievable. So, our great president is doing some great things. Here, Obama administration Benghazi bombshell. Washington Post reports that U.S. officials suspect Ben Kumu, an ex-Gitmo detainee, played a role in the attack on the American compound in Benghazi. So Ben Kumu was based in Derna. Derna was where a lot of because Derna is about from Benghazi. Benghazi is like upper northeast Libya, right? So it starts at Ajabaya. Ajabaya is 90 degrees below. So 200 from Benghazi, it's 280 degrees south, and you're in Ajabaya. Ajabaya is 90 degrees north, and you're in Benghazi. Benghazi was where the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force Hezbollah terror cell, which materially supported Ansar al-Sharia, that was materially supported by the Obama Clinton crime family. They supported Ansar al-Sharia. That's the kicker that's going to come out of this. We're creeping toward statistical significance. Let me tell you something. We're going to be creeping toward incontrovertible truth. So, right, obviously, I'm sitting on my couch. I don't have classified information, but we're close to statistical significance. Here's the board. This tells you, if I know all this from the UK support, Al Qaeda support network, the American support network with Anwar al-Awlaki and Abu Yahya al-Libi and Abu Hamza al-Mashri. If I know all this, they're informants for the UK government and the United States government. Was Anwar al-Awlaki, America's Osama bin Laden. If I know all this, what did the Obama Clinton crime family know, right? So if I know this, outside looking in, the classified information is the president, Obama, is the Secretary of State, Hillary Rodham Clinton. What did they know? They knew more than me. They know more than what we know, right? So if they know more than we know, how do they justify their policies in the North African Middle Eastern region, where they were materially supporting Al-Qaeda foreign fighters, Ansar al-Sharia, with money, weapons, and training, 11 years after the horrific hit on September 11, 2001, where we lost 3,000 to 5,000 Americans? How do they justify it? They can't. They're traitors, plain and simple. Disgraceful, treasonous traitors, the Obama Clinton crime family. as people sit and watch TV and listen to the charade that goes on against our great president. The traitors and treasonous traitors are running around because of mainstream media and unfortunately corruption inside the FBI, the Comey Mueller wing of the FBI, and the Brennan Morrell Panetta wing of the CIA. Unfortunately, the men and women of the intelligence agencies, the FBI and the CIA, has done some great work for this great nation and kept us alive, you know. But when you listen, and the corruption and the weaponizing of intelligence against our great president, and conjuring up and trying to frame and fix federal statutes, U.S. espionage statute, according to Andrew McCarthy, rewriting federal statutes on national television, invoking elements of intent that were not required by Congress for a felony violation of the U.S. espionage statute. Andrew McCarthy, blind chief prosecutor. James Comey did that. With all this going on, what else more do we need to know? There is a deep state. We don't need to get into all the minutia of Lisa Strzok. Well, Lisa Strzok, she may be an Iranian spy, right? Monica Witt, Lisa Strzok, Lisa Page. Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. Lisa Page and Monica Witt may be the same people. That's another one that's going to may come out. So how do we, like, right? And now there's another ruse. Now they've got the whistleblower with President, the same with President. He's the president of the United States. He's defending this great country. He's entitled to do what he has to do. That's what he was elected for. But this is ridiculous. They got this whistleblower, and you know, President Trump is doing an amazing job for this great country. And he's going to get, I believe, hashtag Trump 2020 landslide. So we're looking at either, I believe it's going to be a landslide. I believe Trump's going to get over 300 electoral college votes, maybe trending toward Ronald Reagan-like numbers in the 350s or up. And worst case scenario, it's just like 2016 and President Trump wins again. Either way, he's going to win. So he's winning. But for the grace of God, he's got the hand of God on him. For the grace of God, thank you, Jesus. Got President Trump elected in 2016, saving this nation, saving us from the criminals. And you got the Nancy Pelosi's and the Adam Schiff's and the Charles Schumers and the Chucky Schumers, and you got the Maxine Waterses and the Dianne Feinsteins, all the rats, right? The DNC now is basically run by CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations. At the time, and we talk about this all the time, the Holy Land Foundation trial, we talk about this all the time. CARE, Congresswoman Omar is wrong. CARE did not come out of because something happened. Yeah, something happened. 3,000 to 5,000 Americans got killed on September 11, 2001. CARE did not come out of that. CARE came out of the Philadelphia conference on Hamas in the Holy Land Foundation trial, where they were funneling money to the Sakat committees, to the Gaza Strip. Money for U.S. money for terror. Yeah, the biggest money laundering scheme for terror, one of them anyway. You got the 650 Fifth Avenue building that deals with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Mohammed Zarif was involved in that. The point guy of the fake Iranian nuke deal. Mohammed Zarif is the foreign minister, the American-trained mole of the U.S. intelligence agencies. Zarif, as Mohammed Morsi was, both educated in America, PhDs and all this stuff. Yeah. So diplomatic visas was a way they were penetrating our infrastructure over here. And now it's, you know, it's on steroids. President Trump's trying to shut the vectors down on the U.S.-Mexican border. Only God knows what's going on the northern border. Off the hook. But anyway, I'm getting out of here. I'm on the air for almost an hour and a half. I'm gonna try to get on Sunday night, and then probably Wednesday. We'll see. Wednesday may be my next one after Sunday. I'm gonna try to get on Sunday. Yeah, because I'll talk about, so the 3 times I'm going to talk about this. I'm getting this article. Terrorists freed after Obama administration denies Gitmo entrance. I'm going to get this full article. I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to get more on this. Oh yeah, this thing with the Muscat. Yeah, the Treasury Department license issued in February of 2016, never disclosed, would have allowed Iran to convert 5.7 billion it held in Oman's Bank of Muscat from Omani's reals, from Omani reals into euros. They money laundered it to get around the federal statutes by exchanging them first into dollars. If the Omani bank had allowed the exchange without such a license, it would have violated sanctions that bar Iran from transactions that touch the U.S. financial system. The situation resulted from the fact that Iran had stored billions in Omani reals. Wow. See, this is what I mean. Come on, man. Come on, man. This is what I mean. There's no way that, there's no way. So I'm going to get that other article, which I forgot to get, on the, so we got terrorists freed. I'm tired. Terrorists freed after Obama administration denies Gitmo entrance. I like that. I only got the first page. I don't know if this was that good. Interesting. Very interesting. And then I'm going to go into more in the secret Obama era permit let Iran convert funds to dollars. Crazy. And then I'm going to get the article on President Trump, the Trump administration sanctions on Iran and the banking system. The Trump administration in the history has sanctioned, nobody has sanctioned the Islamic Republic of Iran as harsh as the Trump administration, and rightly so. They have killed directly, indirectly, covertly, overtly, thousands of Americans. The U.S. district courts claim that the Islamic Republic of Iran, before, during, and after, materially supported Al Qaeda on the horrific hit on September 11, 2001. Before, during, and after the horrific hit on September 11, 2001, the Islamic, and it was in the damages were in the billions. And the Obama Clinton crime family said they don't have to pay for it. Matter of fact, they were shutting down the victims fund, the victims compensation fund. Only our great president, Donald Trump, has brought it back. So to make sure the first responders get taken care of, the families of the victims of the Iranian terror attacks get taken care of. And Obama, that stealth jihad radical Islamist, and Hillary Rodham Clinton, the other stealth jihad radical Islamist, was attempting and tried to shut it down, as did the head of the DNC, Keith Ellison, who swore under the Quran. Congresswoman Tlaib, she swore under the Quran. Congresswoman Omar, she swore under the Quran. All are the face of the DNC, with Chair Tom Perez, stealth jihad radicalismist, head of the Obama Justice Department Civil Rights Division. Yeah. So he was basically working for CARE. CARE presents himself as a civil rights organization for everyday peaceful Muslims, but basically they're protecting under those guidelines, under those guys, they're protecting the radical Islamists. That's why they're there. That's what CARE does. Truth be told. So they're saying, oh, we're for the peaceful Muslims. No, they're not. They're there to protect the radical Islamists. Ask Muhammad al-Abari. This is Frankie Russo. I'm coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. Thank you so much for the visits. God bless you all for the visits. God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. I want to thank you for your freedom. If it wasn't for your freedom, if it wasn't for, I'm tired. I want to thank you all for the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. If it wasn't for your service, I wouldn't have the freedom that I have today where I can do what I love to do. And one of the things I love to do is broadcast. I want to thank you so much for your service, the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. And I want to also, so God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Thank you for your service. God bless the greatest country on the planet, America. I love my country. God bless America. And God bless our great president, Donald John Trump. This is Frankie Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. I'm going to try to, I should be able to make it Sunday night. I'll see you all Sunday night. I'm going to try to make it brief. I always say that. I'm an hour and a half in already. So I got to get out of here. This is Frankie Russo, and I'll see you in the future. This is Frankie Russo, YouTube Live, and I'll see you in the future. Russo, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. I'm coming at them over at YouTube over there. Over